Moving quickly, Dr. Ross snatched a material and chloroform from his pack, squeezing it over Elias' nose and mouth. Inside minutes, the old metal forger was oblivious. With shudder hands, Dr. Ross lifted the brilliant hand, feeling its weight and wondering about its craftsmanship. He set it in his sack and got out of the fashion, his heart beating with energy. As he cleared his path through the woods, Dr. Ross felt a feeling of disquiet crawling over him. The trees appeared to surround him, their branches tearing at his garments. He heard murmurs in the breeze, voices calling out to him. He stimulated his speed, anxious to arrive at his carriage and abandon Grimwood. Unexpectedly, the way before him was impeded by a tall, shadowy figure. Dr. Ross staggered back, dread holding his heart. The figure ventured forward, uncovering itself to be a lady with eyes as dim as the evening. "Give it back," she murmured, her voice reverberating through the timberland. Dr. Ross gripped the sack more tight. "I don't have a clue." The lady's eyes restricted. "You can't beguile me. The brilliant hand doesn't have a place with you." Distress energized Dr. Ross' disobedience. "I won't ever surrender it. It's mine now." The lady's demeanor went to one of pity. "You don't comprehend the power you are intruding with. The hand will undoubtedly its lord. It will bring you only wretchedness." Overlooking her admonition, Dr. Ross turned and escaped. He arrived at his carriage, encouraging the ponies to dash as quick as possible. The town of Grimwood vanished behind him, however the feeling of fear waited. Days transformed into weeks, and Dr. Ross delighted in his recently discovered prize. He showed the brilliant hand in his review, bragging his disclosure to anybody who might tune in. Notwithstanding, as time elapsed, unusual things started to occur. He was tormented by bad dreams of a lady shrouded in shadows, her eyes puncturing through the dimness. Objects in his home continued all alone, and a ghostly murmur swirled around, calling out to him. One evening, as he worked late in his review, Dr. Ross felt a cool presence behind him. He diverted to see the lady from the woodland, her structure more strong and frightening than any time in recent memory. "You were cautioned," she said, her voice a frightful tune. Dr. Ross stepped back, his apprehension overpowering. "Kindly, take it back. I don't need it any longer." The lady shook her head. "It is past the point of no return. The revial has arrived." As she talked, the brilliant hand on the table started to move. It slithered towards Dr. Ross, its fingers flexing and coming to. He attempted to run, however his feet were attached to the ground. The hand jumped onto him, its grasp like iron. Torment shot through his arm as the hand combined with his tissue, turning into a piece of him. The lady watched with a pitiful articulation. "You looked for power and presently you have it. In any case, recall, the cost should be paid." From that evening on, Dr. Ross was tortured by the hand's deceptive power. It controlled him, constraining him to carry out demonstrations of unspeakable ghastliness. The bad dreams deteriorated, the lady's face tormenting his all the time. He understood past the point of no return the genuine expense of his ravenousness. One blustery evening, incapable to bear the torture any more, Dr. Ross got back to Grimwood. He coincidentally found the town, his once sharp highlights withered and tormented. He found Elias in the manufacture, the old smithy's eyes enlarging in shock at seeing him. "Please," Dr. Ross asked, holding out the brilliant hand. "Take it back. Free me from this revile." Elias shook his head, misery in his eyes. "I can't. The hand is bound to you now." Urgency mauled at Dr. Ross. "Then let me know how to end it." "I can't live this way," Elias murmured. "There is just a single way. You should get back to the woods and search out the lady. She alone can deliver you." With no other decision, Dr. Ross wandered once more into the dim woods. The backwoods appeared to be buzzing with malicious energy, the trees murmuring mysteries and the shadows moving forebodingly. He found the lady sitting tight for him, her eyes loaded up with an unusual blend of pity and win. "Have you come to acknowledge your destiny?" she asked delicately. Dr. Ross tumbled to his knees, destroy streaming his face. Kindly end this. I will do anything. The lady's appearance relaxed. Great. The revile can be lifted, yet it requires a penance. Anything, Dr. Ross wailed.